So guys, so today we're going to discuss topics regarding the use of how to create C programs. So in my case, I'm going to use Turbo C++, which you can download online. So although you can still use the online compilers, but and still you will still have the same result. But in my case, I'm just fond of using Turbo C++. So it's better actually. It has a complete set of functions that there are things that you cannot do on CodeCham or other online compilers. So I always prefer using the Turbo C++. Although you can use other programs, madami pa naman dyan, which also able to read C languages. Okay, pero yung codes dito can be applied, can be used to create codes dun sa code cham natin. Okay? So let's get started. So if you are going using Turbo C++ to start with a new program, just click on file new, parang sa Microsoft Word lang. Okay, mostly ganon. So on top on this portion, you will be able to see the name of the file that you have created. So as a default, ganyan yan. Extension name is .cpp, so it means .c++. Kasi parang so kung sa Microsoft Word ka, .docx. Kung Excel naman, .xls. If it's a movie, it's either .mp4 or .avi, something like that. Pag pictures naman, .png, .jpeg, So yun yung extension name. So dito, pag C program siya, you may save it here, .c or .c++. It wouldn't matter. Babasahin pa rin yun ng computer or ng compiler natin, which is Turbo C, as a C language. Okay, so let's start with the basics. So when you create your programs, dapat alam mo yung mga certain parts before you will be able to move to making your programs more complicated. Kasi lahat ng programs meron itong parts. So yung first part is the preprocessor directives, kung saan dinideclare natin yung mga kakailangan natin sa program. So when writing the preprocessor directives, you may processor directives. On this portion, by the way guys, this is a comment. It's like comments are used to indicate parang notes dun sa program mo. So these texts will not be recognized as part of your code, yung program mo. Hindi siya babasahin as a C statement. So parang nandyan lang siya. Kung para bang sticky notes, may sticky notes yun. Parang ganun yung purpose niya. Hindi siya kasama sa C codes natin. Okay. So when writing the preprocessor directive, you start with the pound sign, or you call it a hash. So we are very familiar with hashtag. So yun. Pag millennials, hashtag kasi yun eh. Pero pag programmer ka, hash lang yan. Hash, and then or a pound sign. So it will be followed with the word include, and then followed by the angle brackets. So less than and the greater sign. Inside the angle brackets are your header files. So we have a lot of header files that can be used, but in our case, we'll have to use mostly stdio.h because it contains all the standard input-output functions. No, pwede natin magamit sa entire program. So, madami yan siya. So, sa preprocessor directive, if you're going to include other header files, you just simply type them one by one. So again, type the word include. You may have a space here or not. It doesn't matter. Pero in my case, I always include a space. So, parang ano lang, mas maganda tingnan. So, most commonly na ginagamit natin for if you're using Turbo C++ is TDIO.h at saka Conio.h. Okay, so yung mga tawag na yung mga basic na functions or statements na sa paggawa ng codes are found in these two header files. Okay? Yung iba meron tayong math, meron tayong graphics, medyo complicated na yun if you're learning in advance, advanced codes sa C, so we will be using those. So hopefully we'll be able to use math at saka yung strings in our future lessons. Okay? So basically andun yung preprocessor directive. So dito sa part na to ini-include yung yung mga files na yung mga functions na pwede natin magamit when we come to our main code. Dun sa where yung parang dun mismo tayo magbibigay ng command kung anong gagawin ng computer. Okay? And that part is our main function. To write the main function, mostly ito yung makikita mo sa main function. Okay, so you have the int, which is the data type of the function. The main function is the next part because whenever you run a C program, after executing, para pag na-process na ito yung mga preprocessor directives natin, unang hahanapin na function is the main function. Pag wala ka nun, walang program na magra-run sa C program mo na ginawa. Okay, so kailangan talaga merong main function. So main function is in small letters, always. So yun kasi nga hanap na parang default na yan sa C program. Pag walang main function, it won't work. Okay, so int. So yung codes mo will now be written on this portion. Dito na part. Starting right after yung curly brackets natin. Okay, yung curly brackets. So I'm just going to comment here that these are the portion where you are going to write your codes. The statements. Kagaya nito, return 0, it's a statement. But in this case, sa main function, because you have used int main for the main function, required yung return 0. You can use other numbers, pero most of the books you would find 0 lang, okay na. Okay, so other statements can be written here, right after dun sa ano. So yun yung the codes or the statements that will come after these curly brackets are your first statements. Okay, so these with just these codes, you already have a program actually. But of course, because you did not write any other statements, so yun lang, walang masyadong gagawin yung computer na yung program mo. Okay, so in some books also you would find word void inside the parentheses dun sa main. Okay, void means empty, so sometimes in this code parang wala ring mangyayari. But when we go to functions, yung mga nakasulat sa loob ng parentheses will now matter. So for the main function, pag nilagay mo void, okay lang meron, okay lang wala. Okay. So also in other books, other resources, makikita nyo wala ring main. Wala ring int, sorry. So pag walang int, you do not you are not required to have a return zero statement. Only the codes, which which will still be a valid code. Okay lang naman, wala nang problema doon. Okay, yung iba naman, meron namang nakasulat dito pero hindi siya main. I mean, hindi siya int. It's nakalagay doon void, which also means empty. So, which also means that you do not need a return value for that one. Walang return na statement. Okay, so for us, para consistent tayo pare-parehas, lagyan na lang natin ng main. Kahit wala nang void, okay lang. But definitely will always have the return zero at the end, right before yung close na bracket natin. Okay, so ganun yung parts natin. So we have the preprocessor directives. Okay, so dun sa if you're going to use online compilers, kahit wala na yung connu.h. But if you're using C, just like this one, C++, definite yung connu.h. May mga compilers na hindi na kailangan ng connu.h, but in my case, I'll be using connu.h every time I use my C program, when I create my C programs. Okay? So if you have questions, you can just simply message me.